Every headline you see is a smokescreen distracting from the atrocities you heard about yesterday. You are being gaslit by a system designed to keep you blind. Welcome to Political Malpractice. Open your eyes, see the frauds behind the curtain, dismantle the illusion.
And welcome back to Political Malpractice. It is I, Sasha, your hostess with the mostest, and I am here with Lela. I managed to convince her that studying for finals would be better served if we took a mental health break and vented a little bit here on what's going on with California and our governor race and some of the recent misogynistic sex allegations that I've seen pop up all over the place nationally and with close to home elections. So thank you for taking a study break, Lela. I desperately needed it.
Yes, me too. Me too. Thank you for the convincing.
Yes. So let's talk first about the man that wants to be California's favorite billionaire, as if like true liberals in California will ever have a favorite billionaire. Tom
Yeah.
Steyer.
Oh my God. I'm just going to preface everything that I think about this with one thing, which is leftists don't vote for billionaires. It's an oxymoron. And I just know that as we are recording this podcast, that there is some Democrat in California right now with fuck Donald Trump in their bio and like radical left scum in their bio that is fighting for their life in a comment section, like defending a billionaire
Right.
with their money tied up in for-profit prisons that are being used by ICE. And I just know that they are right now. And if you are listening to this podcast, please listen with an open mind, because I don't want you fighting for your life, my dear fellow leftist, in a comment section defending a billionaire with no experience in politics. So please hear me out. So you stop doing that, okay? Okay?
So here's the deal. Tom Steyer is a wolf in couture sheep's clothing. He can afford the expensive, almost identical sheep cosplay outfit. And that's what he's wearing right now. He has made his money off of private prison investments, namely Core Civic.
Used by ICE. Being used by ICE.
He has fully invested in fossil fuels. He claims that he divested, that he left fossil fuel investments in 2014. Reports are coming out that his firm's projects continue to generate massive emissions. Like, I'm maybe 10 years older than you, Lela, so I don't know if you remember the same things I remember growing up in this state, but my stepdad loved camping. Absolutely freaking loved it. So in the late 80s, early 90s, all the way up until I graduated from high school, we went camping every other fucking weekend. And I remember every other fucking weekend driving down from the mountains and looking at this brown blanket of fog that covered the valley. It was disgusting.
I remember that. I mean, yeah.
My wife and I've since given up the camping life. I appreciate air conditioning and heating and,
I like to
going.
glamp.
Yeah.
Like in a hotel with the balcony outside, so that I'm outside still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will camp in a very nice hotel or even a nice Airbnb. But
Yeah.
In 2022, when the Supreme Court came out with their Dobbs decision, I needed to get away. I needed to go somewhere where I didn't have cell phone service and I could just be. So my wife and I loaded up the dogs and we drove up to my childhood camping grounds. I remember coming down that evening and there was no brown blanket of smog. And it had been decades since I had gone down that mountain. And I was just shocked. I pulled into a turnout and I looked at her and I was like, oh my God, there used to be a brown blanket of smog. You couldn't see anything coming down this road because the smog was so bad in California.
Mm-hmm.
And there we were sitting on the side of this mountain. We could see downtown LA. We could see the tiny
Yeah.
little cities that were in the valley. I understand that people bitch and moan about the additional taxes that California puts on our gas. You know, the extreme amount of money that we pay to register cars. And there is higher registration fees if you're going to have a high polluting vehicle.
Yeah.
But the purpose is to have removed that nasty brown blanket of smog. So fuck this man.
Our gas too. Our gas is higher because we have environmental protections.
Yes.
In our gas.
So
yeah,
it's worth it.
it's worth
It
it.
is
Yeah.
absolutely worth it for
If you
another
care about our
child.
environment at all, it's worth it.
And not even on that big of a scale. It is worth it so that my granddaughter, should she ever drive down that mountain, can look out and see the city and see the buildings and think, oh my God, how cool. Here I am in California up in the mountain where there is snow, but I can see downtown LA. That's awesome. I want my granddaughter and all the other kids in California to be able to have that experience. So fuck this billionaire for having made a shit ton of money on fossil fuel
I'm with
and
you.
wrecking the environment. He is part of the reason why there was a brown blanket of smog that covered the entire freaking valley. He invests a lot. He's got a lot of his money in offshore funds, right? So
Yep.
he claims that his third party managers that handle the money in the Cayman Islands are paying taxes. Again, don't know about you, Layla, and I don't know about our listeners, but I distinctly remember growing up on all of these good guy, bad guy, international billionaire criminal movies. And one of the plots, one of those billionaires' crimes was the fact that he hid money offshore for the purpose of not having to pay taxes.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
telling me, Tom Steyer, that you're a billionaire that told your offshore money manager, hey, I know I'm going to put my money offshore so that, banks in the US can't make money off of my money, but I'd like to still make sure I pay my taxes on it.
Yeah.
I'm not
I bet.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am not stupid.
He thinks everyone was born yesterday. Like, come on.
He claims that he walked away from a company that he built because the company no longer aligned with his values.
Oh, please. Oh, it's very convenient that it no longer aligns with his values after he made a fuck ton of money off of it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I buy that. I buy that just as much as Donald Trump did not pay Stormy Daniels hush money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
believe this billionaire about as much as I believe Trump. And
Yeah,
about as much as I
exactly.
believe that Twitter is pro First Amendment.
You know what? Here's my take. And I think my take on Tom Steyer can stop and end here, honestly. We already have one unqualified billionaire running in office, and he's ruining the country. Do we really want another unqualified billionaire? Really?
Right.
California doesn't need that. Let's not make the same mistake twice. Just because he claims to be a Democrat who's changed his spots. No,
Right. One of the things that gets me with him, he came out with what he knew Californians would jump on this week. And he said that when he is governor, California is going to make sure that we arrest the leaders of ICE, that we arrest the supervisors, that we prosecute them for their actions. This is all fucking talk.
It's the red meat for his base. It's the red meat that Democrats want to hear, and that they are going to jump on. That is exactly what they want to hear. And trust me, I would love to see all these ICE agents and their superiors jailed and arrested as well. But let's get back to reality here, right? I mean, there's a reason why you're not seeing these guys that
Right.
killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy arrested. You think Tim Waltz doesn't want them to be arrested?
Right.
Well, come on. Do we really think that he doesn't want that? Do you think he hasn't done it because he doesn't want to? He hasn't done it because he can't, because they have protections when they are acting within the scope of their duties, and they were in a coordinated effort. You're not going to be able to just blatantly jail these ICE agents and their superiors when they're acting under Trump's orders.
When you sent me the news article that talked about this, my first thought is Tom Steyer has a 1L in his family or somewhere working on his campaign.
I
This
wonder
1L,
if if they even have a law background, to be honest, because
I would venture to guess it's a 1L. I would venture to guess that it's a 1L who just took torts and who very quickly went through constitutional law, right?
Yeah, probably.
One of the
A
things
1L would make sense with that with that respondeat superior theory, because they focus so much on that in that course. And I mean, yeah, I guess if you don't know anything else beyond that, perhaps you could say, yeah, let's go after their superiors. But if you have even done any constitutional law or even vaguely know about it, then you would realize that the Supremacy Clause would stop you. I mean,
exactly.
the Nagel case would show you right away that this is virtually impossible. I mean, of course, that case in Minnesota that they just prosecuted, right, with the guy that committed assault, but he was in like a road rage incident, very clearly outside the scope of his duties.
Exactly. The big difference with the Minnesota ICE agent that they just indicted, this ICE agent was off duty.
Actually, correction. They've come out and they've corrected that he was on duty, but it was not they were not in a coordinated mission. However, he did just have like a pure road rage incident while on duty.
Okay. So this guy, from what I understood in reading it, he was driving the wrong way down the road and another car tried to stop him. Like, hey, wrong way. You're going to cause an accident. Don't do this. He pulled up alongside that vehicle that tried to stop him, pulled out his gun and pointed it at the driver and the passenger, and then continued about his way, right? There is nothing in that action that would land this officer within the realm of qualified immunity for federal law to be able to step in and say, no, that's not going to happen, right? The way that I keep confusing Minnesota and Michigan.
I know, it's because they're close together, kind of.
Which state is this? Not really.
This all happened in Minnesota.
There we go. It's because they're M states. I confuse them. It's my own issue. But, so in Minnesota, right, they have state laws. You have to drive, a particular way on the road. Otherwise, the roadways are going to be insane. You cannot, even if you're a law enforcement officer, point a weapon at somebody without justification, right? This law officer had no reason. There's no justification to point your gun at a driver and a passenger in a car just because they were trying to stop you, to tell you you're driving the wrong way and to get you going the right way on the road. There was no threat from them. He was not enacting any kind of a stop. There was no investigative process that would warrant him pointing a gun at them. So there are two state laws that he violated while working in a federal capacity. You can absolutely prosecute that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty clear that what he was doing was outside the scope of his duties.
Right. For Tom Steyer to come out and just say, we're going to prosecute all the ICE people that are operating in California. You can't do that. The states have sovereignty, yes. But there are certain situations, such as immigration enforcement, where the federal law does reign supreme. and state laws that interfere with federal laws are struck down. Even state laws that purport to assist a federal law, if it is a realm solely within the federal control, the state can't even make a law to help federal law. So you can't just say, we're going to willy nilly go arrest all of these people. But he knows that these promises are going to rile the base.
And
And what
that's the thing, though, that makes it incredibly dishonest on his part. But I mean, I said to someone the other day, it's either that one, he's getting poor advice or does not know what he's doing, is not within the realm of possibility. Or two, he does know it's not within the realm of possibility, and he's saying it anyway, hoping
right,
his voters have no idea. Both of those possibilities are absolutely terrible and should turn any voter off. Like
right.
he is just targeting a fired up and uneducated base of liberals, and that is just absolutely abhorrent. I do not I didn't want to vote for him anyway because I'm a true leftist that will never vote for a billionaire because
Right.
they're making their money. If you are a billionaire and you have billions of dollars, you have made that unethically no matter what, and I will never support you. But to hear him say that turned me all the way off because you should not be making promises as someone running for office that you cannot keep. And that is not the first one that he has made. His
Right.
campaign is full of promises that he cannot keep.
I caution Democrats to not become the new MAGA as far as gullibility goes, right? MAGA was very gullible. We saw Trump making promises that he had no plans for, right? That were not something he could bring to fruition. Or if they were, it was something that he could bring through fruition illegally, right? That's exactly what Steyer is doing here. He's making you a promise that he can't perform. This is no different than the high school, ASB president who makes a campaign promise to his little high school buddies that the school is only going to give us pizza for lunch. How?
Yeah. Do not
Can't do
vote
it.
for candidates based on vibes and do not
No.
try to do mental gymnastics. I mean, I've seen a lot of that on the internet lately where people are taking what he said and said, "Well, I don't think that's quite what he meant. I don't think he meant it that way. I think he just meant that he's going to do everything in his power to not let ICE." No. That's not what he said. So stop trying to do mental gymnastics to make
Right.
what he said okay so that you can vote for him. Do not become the new MAGA, like you said. It's just, we cannot be doing mental gymnastics to vote for our candidates of choice.
Mm-mm.
It's just not how this works.
You have to stop explaining what these politicians mean.
They say
They
it plainly.
if they don't, what they're saying in public, their speeches are not like how we do our podcast, right? We have a couple bullet points. These are the things that we want to talk about. Here's some evidence to the things that we want to talk about, but it's a very loose agenda. When these politicians go out there and they make these speeches, there's nothing loose. There's nothing off the
Mm-mm.
cuff that they're saying. Their
No.
speeches are very tightly planned and they don't go off script. So he is saying what he means and he absolutely means what he says. If you're saying something that has zero substance, you mean to not have substance. That is your plan. Anything that is said that is meant to give you this belief is on purpose. He is wanting you to get riled and to get fired up for it, right? Nobody else is saying we're going to arrest ICE. We want to arrest ICE. Vote for Tom Steyer to arrest ICE.
Well, why do you think no one's saying it? Because they can't, because they know that those are things that are not possible, you know?
And we've seen Newsom try and regulate ICE. We've seen
Yeah, well, but
Pritzker try
there,
and regulate
I'll say it
ICE.
again though. I like Newsom. He's done a good job, but I think he too could be doing more as regards ICE. And that's where
Right.
I do think some candidates could come out with some stronger language, and there's room for that. And I would like to see someone a candidate come out with something a little bit more proactive with ICE, but again, it's got to be within the realm of possibility. I'm looking forward to hearing. I know Javier. Oh my God, because I hadn't heard his name spoken out loud. I said Xavier last week, and I just did it again. Javier Becerra. He has a town hall in Los Angeles today. I'm so bummed that I could not go because I have finals, and it just taking an extra hour would have really freaked me out, hour plus, because it's in downtown LA.
Right.
Would have been half my day. But
And in
I'm hoping,
California, that's a whole damn day.
yeah, it's a whole day. I'm hoping that he will expand his position on that, and that it will turn on more of a legal and legislative position, because that's his background. So that
Right.
his plan will come from a place of more feasibility. But I would like to hear him expand on that a little bit more as well. I know that he's against ICE and is not planning to cooperate with them, but these candidates do need to expand in ways that are more plausible, because Steyer with his plan makes me think he doesn't really have a true plan. So, you know.
Steyer with his billions, right? Let's walk with me down imagination lane. Okay. Walk with me down imagination lane, and we're going to pretend that Steyer, now that he is comfortable in his billionaire's wealth, he knows that he doesn't have to work. He really doesn't have to do shit. His money's going to make money for him, right?
Yeah.
In that KTLA article that you sent me, he
Yeah.
says that he promises to bring those detained and kidnapped by ICE back home by creating a stronger legal defense network to help immigrants. There is nothing there of substance. Had he said, I personally have $500 billion, I'm throwing out a number, I don't know how many billions he has, but I am going to personally, and I'm starting this tomorrow, whether or not I become governor, this is still my plan. I am taking 10 billion of my billions and creating a nonprofit immigration defense law firm that is pointedly going to hire, just graduated lawyers and experienced immigration lawyers. And I'm going to pay their student loans, and I'm going to pay for everything that these immigrants need to get the defense that they need. I am personally funding that. That's a plan that I could get behind.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
that, I would kind of be like, don't know if anything else really matters to me if I see you invest and maintain that, right?
That's
Something
that's a huge
actionable.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's spending an extraordinary amount of money on these campaigns of his. I think he spent like 340 million on a presidential campaign, and I think it was like 134 million so far on this governor's campaign. That is a lot of money. I mean, that is so much money that these campaign promises that he's trying to do, like you just said, why couldn't you take that money and turn it into something actionable right now? If you care so much about these things that you're championing, why don't you create something with that incredible amount of money you throw into your campaign to help California? Because you don't have to do some of these things as governor. You could do them now, you know?
Right.
Um,
You don't have
and
to wait for our vote. I want to see what you've done before and what you're doing now.
yes, yes. I mean, not to mention that putting that kind of money into a campaign, I mean, is questionable on its own when you're surrounded in a field by people that don't have that kind of self-funding,
Right.
and they're having to do grassroots campaigns. I mean, to me, that raises so many questions about his political, influence being built through that kind of support, and how much of an advantage that puts over him over other candidates who don't have that.
Right.
I mean,
It
all you see is his ads on TV, because that's all, that's the money he has. It's not fair.
Ironically enough, and I had made a mental note to Google that particular commercial, but it's finals. If it's not based in what's going to be
I
on my
don't have
final, I'm
time
not going to
right
remember
now.
it.
I know. I didn't do any research before this podcast at all because I'm just so overwhelmed.
I got you. So in the morning, one of my cats is like a toddler, and my cat needs screen time. So this morning, I was turning on my TV in the bedroom to his cat games on YouTube so that he could play his little, hour and a half of screen time and occupy himself. But
Oh.
in the mandatory YouTube sponsored ad or whatever that came up, a Tom Steyer ad came up. And my wife, who is not political at all, is standing there watching it. And her head's kind of tilted and she's watching what she's saying. And then she looked at me and she goes, I can't believe any of this bullshit. And just walked out of the room.
I don't know how people can watch his ads. I strongly remember this. I remember the first Tom Steyer ad that I ever saw, and I got like the heebie-jeebies from it. Like, I don't know how people's discernment does not go off with him. Because to me, it is so obvious and so slimy that you cannot trust this person. It's so clear. Like, how are leftists falling for him? Come on, you guys.
Let's pretend, for the sake of trying to avoid a defamation suit, right? Let's pretend that
please don't sue me. Please don't sue me. I can't afford it. You won't get anything from me anyways.
Right? You can have my cat.
I'm a law student.
You can have the cat. If that's what you want, you can have the cat.
You can have my dog, and he's really annoying.
But for the sake of avoiding a defamation suit and not being anti-Steyer just because we are pro-Becerra.
No, that's not the reason. I've been anti-Steyer forever. It had nothing to do with Becerra.
I haven't been. I'm anti-Steyer because I like Becerra. And because the more articles you rapid fire at me, I'm like
anti-Steyer because I'm anti-billionaire. So that's just my stance.
If Steyer really cared, right? Looking at Google, it looks like he set up Next Gen America, which was formerly Next Gen Climate. So he has thrown money at climate change and legislation, to push to protect the environment, things like that.
Yeah.
In 2017, he launched the Need to Impeach campaign. I don't know why he hasn't reinvigorated that. That definitely needs to be reinvigorated, except that was only looking at Trump's administration insofar as environmental regulations were being rolled back. Rolling back environmental regulations. Again, Steyer, stop talking to the 1Ls. Get yourself at least a 3L. We're a little more expensive than the 1Ls, but we've also had a bit more school. Environmental rollbacks are not impeachment worthy. It's not treason, and it's not a high crime, and it's not a misdemeanor.
But that's probably just like what he's focused on because he currently is focused on the environment. I mean, I know Shane Fonda's company recently endorsed Steyer for governor. So, I mean, and that's solely because of her involvement in the environmental stuff. I'm not discounting that he has some environment experience, but he's also discounted a lot of that by some of the past things that he's done. That's the problem here. His actions don't really line up with his investments. It's worrisome.
This could very well be a making amends, right? We can assume,
and it very well could be.
We can assume that all of these things that he has done to try and help the government is him making amends. Maybe his wife talked some sense into him or something.
When did it start? Did it start when he ran for president? When did it start?
2013.
That's my question.
2013. It's been a hot minute.
Okay, so a little bit before.
It's been a hot minute. But again, he has no idea what he's doing. If we're looking at this 2017 need to impeach campaign, your need to impeach campaign was grounded on a rollback of environmental regulations. It's not impeachment worthy. I understand, Steyer, that maybe you've had, the Charles Dickens Christmas Eve situation here, right? Scrooge, you had the ghosts of Christmas come and visit you. You woke up, you realize the error of your ways. You're trying to use your money for some good. You're doing what you can, but it's uneducated floundering. is what it is. You can't impeach someone for rolling back environmental regulations. Period. That's just how
No,
it
yeah.
is. Okay.
High crimes and
Now,
misdemeanors only.
right. Now, if you really want to impeach Trump, we've got a shit ton of information in the last 15 years alone. Steyer revived that need to impeach, right? With your billionaire dollars, go and woo some Republicans so that we can get these things done. If you really, really are concerned about the environment, Steyer, you need to understand that sick Americans that don't have health care, that have to work 2 jobs, that are stuck driving their cars that are not electric vehicles because they can't afford an electric vehicle, are on the freeway twice as much as people that have health insurance that only have to work 1 job, right? All of these little things work hand in hand. So maybe take your millions of dollars, throw them behind Becerra, who has a broader plan for the state other than
Mhm.
random. I'm going to arrest ICE people and I'm going to strengthen the immigration legal community to protect the people that they're attacking. Let's get some pointed ideas because we have Becerra, who has been in legislation, who understands what he can and cannot do, and who understands how to loosen the buckles on the things that he can't do so that he has some more wiggle room, right? Instead of just throwing out these bullshit ideas. I get it. He's saying that in America, our system of government allows states to step in when the federal government fails to do its job.
Yeah, but it
I
doesn't.
don't,
That's the thing.
I have no idea what he's talking about there, where the state can
No.
step in. Now, what he could be talking about is shoring up rights, right? So the
Yes.
Constitution gives you the floor for individual rights. The
Yes,
states
like
can
Newsom
come
has
and
done.
build
Newsom has
walls
been
and
building.
right.
Yeah.
The states
Yeah.
can strengthen those constitutional rights. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean that a state is stepping in where the federal government has failed.
Yes. They
And
can't do that.
that was part of his attack and his reasoning for why he would be able to go after ICE agents. That would be like me saying, Lela, the sky is blue. I should put purple tint on my windows to block the UV light. No, the sky being blue has nothing to do with there being UV coming from the sun. The
Yeah.
sky being blue has a lot to do with micro rays and the way that light plays on the things around it.
Hmm.
He's throwing things out that sound really fucking good. And
Yeah. If you
if,
don't know how things work, it sounds phenomenal. But
right,
the problem is that there's too many roadblocks to the things that he's trying to accomplish. And things sounding great in theory, yes, but they need to sound great in practice too. And that's the
right,
problem here.
right.
He just doesn't have the experience that is needed.
No,
That's the thing. So it's like, to me, whereas I think where I'm getting rubbed the wrong way with him is that, just like with any job, you need to start from the bottom first. If
mm-hmm,
you want to work at McDonald's and be the manager, you got to be a fry cook first. All
exactly.
right? Like, and he wants to come right on in and run for president like he did, and come right on into California and run for governor. Buddy, you
Exactly.
got to start in government from the bottom so you know how things work. California is the 4th largest economy in the world. You cannot just come on in here with no experience. Like, we cannot just have somebody coming in right now and have to give them training and have them have training wheels and run this state. Like, that's
Exactly. It
that's not going to work. We need somebody in here with the experience. That's not fair to us as a state.
and
Like,
we saw Elon Musk buy Twitter because he could, because he's a
yes.
billionaire.
And how's
He
that going?
he wanted a toy. Elon
Yes.
Musk
And
wanted a toy and he bought Twitter and he drove it into the ground.
Steyer wants
It's
a toy. He wants a
Steyer
toy,
wants a toy. He
and it's
wants to
us, and he
he
will drive
yeah,
us into the ground.
he
And
wants to
it's
play
not fair.
politics. He wants to play
Yes.
politics. So he's coming in as the kid with the coolest toys on the playground. And he is wooing the other kids on the playground. So if you're a Democrat, if you're a liberal, and you want to be wooed by the cool toy that you're never going to have and you're never going to get to play with, go
It
ahead and
shouldn't
vote for
have to be
Steyer.
said. It shouldn't have to be said, but money does not buy you experience.
No, I don't care that you were the CEO of 50 million companies.
No.
If I have learned anything in watching Trump spectacularly destroy our country,
Yeah.
watching Elon Musk spectacularly destroy Twitter, I have learned that CEOs don't do shit. When you are
He
a
just doesn't
CEO,
know
you
enough.
don't do anything.
I genuinely think that if this is the path that Steyer wants to go down, he needs to start at the beginning ranks of government. He needs to start at the bottom, start working his way up, and then later he can revisit running for governor after he has served, as a supervisor, and then later on as
Right.
a, whatever else, a state assemblyman, like let him start going at the bottom and then coming up so that he can prove to everyone that he can indeed run this state.
Exactly.
But that's what he's going to have to do to earn my trust. But he'll
Right.
never earn my trust. I'm sorry, because he's a billionaire. I'll never vote for him. But that's what he would have to do to earn, I would think, a voter's trust.
Right. Californians, I think, and I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the people in my state. I think Californians are seeing billionaires destroy the world and destroy the country. And they are hoping to get someone who stands at the same social class as these other billionaires who might be able to fight dollar for dollar. And I think maybe that is what the most simplistic of Democratic voters are hoping, right? It's not how it works.
That's not
It's
how it
really
works.
not. You need someone that has experience. It's not like this is Louisiana that just doesn't make any fucking money. So who cares if somebody ruins the state and continues to not make any fucking money?
Yeah,
We
no. And
are
we
the
are
donor
yeah,
state.
we are the biggest state, and we have to do a lot of diplomatic relations as well. I mean, there's room for improvement here for sure. I still believe that we are too low in education. I think somebody needs to come in and help us in that arena.
Right.
I still think that we have a big, big homeless, unhoused issue here. I think that and this is where I think again, Becerra is a great pick because he has worked a lot with mental health and a lot with housing and a lot with healthcare. And I think that this is somebody that could come and actually help us in this arena. But there's a lot to be done there. I do think that there is some places where we could improve our cooperation or I mean lack of with ICE. We need to stop cooperating with them fully. I think Newsom hasn't done enough in that arena. I think we could withdraw more.
Right.
I think that there's more protections we could have in place there. I mean, there is room for improvement here. And I would like to see someone come in and actually fill those holes, and start campaigning with a plan on those places that do need to be worked on within the state. But as a whole, right now, our economy is thriving, and this state is doing great. And people could come in like Steyer and run it into the ground who don't know what they're
Right.
doing. So it can go from pretty good to really bad really fast if you lack the experience.
Right.
Yeah.
As kind of an aside, before we get off the Steyer thing, as kind of an
Yeah.
aside, for being such an environmentalist, I'm aghast at the idea that he wants to, quote, make AI work for all Californians. AI facilities are environmental killers.
Yes. Yes.
What are you gonna do? Use the AI facilities in Texas? Are you wanting Californians to actively destroy the environment in Texas so that we can make AI work for all of us? Or are you wanting to put AI facilities here in California that, again, are going to destroy the environment in California?
That
I
soundbite flagged me hard
Right.
because as an environmentalist, AI is the worst thing, like you said, that you could possibly be doing for the environment. And I understand wanting to protect it. I understand the fact that it might not be something that's going to be going away anytime soon. We should regulate it so that it hurts the environment less, but I
Right.
haven't heard him say that. So
No.
I'm wondering what the plan is there too. He just has a lot of fluff with no, a lot of cool sound bites. He has a lot
There's
of cool sound
exactly.
bites that he likes to use. His campaign is full of vibes and meat for people, that fresh meat that he thinks people are going to bite on because they're going to vote for him if he says the right buzzwords. And I hope against hope that people in California are too smart for that. But I don't know. People prove me wrong a lot in that arena.
It If Steyer really cared, he would throw his money behind Becerra, because right now Steyer's at 20% in the polls, Becerra's at 19.
And he's going to keep rising.
We're
He's going to keep
still
rising.
trailing the Republicans.
Yes.
If Steyer and Becerra teamed up, let's say Steyer wants to be a billionaire and he wants to play at politics, right? Put him as lieutenant governor. You can't hurt shit there. That's nearly as harmless and pointless as a vice president, right?
Yeah, but
Put him as
don't know. I
lieutenant
don't see
governor.
that happening because I think Becerra's Steyer's releasing attack ads on Becerra now.
He is.
From what I've seen. So I doubt that they're going to play nice once that comes down to the thing. So I will see, but I don't foresee Becerra. I think Becerra would take heat from his voters if he added Steyer into his fray at this point, because his voters are anti-billionaire. So I think I would get pissed if I saw him add Becerra on Steyer, honestly. I think I would get pissed.
I think
I don't want to see Steyer in government.
there's a safe way to do it. I think there's a safe way to do it. Because here's the thing that Democrats need to understand. Unless and until we repeat 1789, we are not going to be rid of the billionaire class. Point blank,
but
period.
They don't need
We're
to be
not
in our
going
government.
to be.
They don't need to be.
Put them on
they
a
don't
leash.
need to be.
Put them on a leash. If billionaires are on a leash and we can use them to advocate for the heavy taxing of other billionaires, then you are the useful dog. Go on a leash, stay on a leash. Don't ever let them off the fucking leash. Because this is what happens. What happened in the 2024 presidential campaign, that's what happens when you let a billionaire off their leash. Misinformation is poured. Tom Steyer is releasing attack ads against Becerra, criticizing him for taking $39,000 from Chevron for his campaign, when Tom Steyer made billions off the backs of children in cages by ICE.
Yeah, exactly.
Pot, meat, kettle.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. So, moving on from Steyer and our hate of billionaires.
Yeah.
John Eastman's lawyer was spectacularly disbarred.
Oh, finally. Do Bondi next. Bondi next.
So John Eastman, for those that don't know, was Trump's lawyer who was really pushing hard in the 2020 election denial lawsuits, right? You are not allowed to bring frivolous lawsuits. And if you repeatedly bring frivolous lawsuits, that is wholly demonstrative of the fact that you are unable to act as a lawyer and maintain action that is honest and trustworthy.
I believe it's called anti-slap, right?
Yeah. Done. You're gone.
Yeah.
So Eastman is gone.
Even in the bar statement when they disbarred Eastman, did you read it? They were like, they mentioned the 2020 election stuff. They were like, we disbarred him because he was peddling 2020 election conspiracy theories.
You as a lawyer have ethics. You have ethics and morals, rules that you have to operate in. And bringing these lawsuits were not within those rules. Point blank, period. So he's gone. Giuliani was gone like 2 years ago.
All these lawyers that wind up going to bat for Trump, they all wind up losing their bar card. I'm just patiently waiting. I'm sitting here like tick, 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 waiting for Bondi, man. I am just waiting. I'm chomping at the bit.
So Bondi didn't show up. She was subpoenaed
She
by
didn't.
Congress.
She's going to get held in contempt, they said. She's going to get held in contempt.
So here's the deal. Bondi was arguing that you subpoenaed me as U.S. AG to come and testify in front of Congress. I'm no longer U.S. AG. I don't have to. It was
But
made
they
very
didn't.
clear.
They subpoenaed her personally. They didn't subpoena her under the color of her job. They subpoenaed her by name. The knowledge that she has isn't attached to her position. It's attached to her brain.
She didn't forget what was in the files, what she was told to do, and what she did just because she was fired from the job.
That's such a bad argument.
And
so then they should have, if that's the case, if that's what they truly believe, then they should have sent Todd Blanche in her place. But they didn't.
Well, Todd Blanche is we're coming up on the 30 days that since Bondi's been fired. Nobody else has come in to take the temporary position from Blanche. Blanche had his 30 days renewed to release the files.
Are they planning on trying to confirm him then, I'm wondering?
I don't know. I haven't heard much.
I haven't heard anything either.
I think that the news cycle, there's so much right now that balls get dropped. And that's something that's quietly trying to be rolled onto the playing field without people noticing.
Probably.
But Congress, the Oversight Committee has said that with the new installment of Blanche, even though he's temporary, the 30 days from the Epstein Transparency Act resets. So he has 30 days for him to release the rest of the files. He came out 2 weeks before Bondi was fired and said, we've released 3.5 million files. There's 3 million more files. We're not going to release them. They're not relevant to the act. He has now, since that statement, walked it back and said, there are no more files. We've released all the files. So now you're contradicting yourself.
Big shocker.
Release the fucking files.
They don't have any plans to release anymore. No. They're not going to. They're just going to victim blame all the victims like Trump just did and let it go. Let it roll over.
Yeah. Trump did it hiding behind the skirts of his wife because his wife did it first. She said, well, why don't they go under oath?
She's trying to get ahead of something. She's trying to get ahead of something. Did you see Amanda Egaro just came out with a big old interview with Courier News? Saying that Melania went on there and lied about how her and Trump met via that Paulo Zambroni guy or whatever. And Melania did that just to get ahead of some big thing that's going to come out between her and that Amanda girl. I guarantee it. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, something is brewing.
Something's amiss. Something wicked this way comes, as they say.
Right? The sheer audacity of Melania.
Ugh. She is a wicked witch, that woman.
That's kind of where I get stuck. So what a lot of people don't understand is that the statements that these victims have made as children and have made as adults were either testimony in civil trials, ergo, the statements they made are under oath. The statements that they made to investigating officers are under oath. They are affidavits. When you go and you talk to the cops and you tell them about a crime that was committed against you, when they're asking questions, they are putting all of this into a statement. You signed that statement under penalty of perjury. So fuck you, Melania.
Yes.
For telling these women that they have to be re-traumatized.
Why are we burdening these victims more and more and more and dragging them through the mud in the media after everything that they've already been through? Why is it their fault and their problem yet again when the DOJ has refused to do their part and continue and refuse to investigate these things? This is insane that the victims have to be continually dragged over and over and over again, and by the president, no less.
Right.
That's just it's honestly horrific.
It's disgusting.
What this country, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but in the last 3 days, being more maybe since the Eric Swalwell shit has dropped, right? being a woman in this country has felt absolutely horrific. And I mean, I know that it's been going on like this for just generations after generations and trauma interracially and trauma everywhere. But like, to see like, okay, you've got Eric Swalwell, you've got the other congressmen, then you have this online rape academy where you find out that 62 million men are drugging
So,
and
okay,
raping women on
on the
camera.
on the
And
online rape academy, it was 62 million hits, not 62 million men.
they're watching it, so they're
But
part of it. I'm sorry.
exactly.
I don't care
It
if they're a part of the group or
the
they're going on and they're
fact
watching it.
the fact that there is a rape academy at all
At all. Yeah.
is
And the fact that
disgusting.
62 million people have gone on and consumed that content, that makes you not a safe person. I don't care if you're the one
No.
actively taking a part of it. If you're going on there and you are consuming content like this, you are not a safe person to be around, period. So,
And
anyways, you
and
see
men want
that.
to
Then you see this
cry.
other guy who
Yep.
goes in and shoots his wife and then kills himself. You know, women are just like not, I mean, we've known this for so long, right? But just like the news cycle, to be a woman in this country watching all this unfold in the last couple weeks has honestly just been traumatic and horrifying
It
because it makes you realize how truthfully unsafe you are. I mean, I'm single and I don't date, and I'm just so glad that I'm
yeah.
single and I don't date, and I think I honestly never will again because I just want no part of this horrifying mess. Like, men are not safe to be around, and
No.
that's the only thing that you can deduce from all of this, to be honest.
No.
Like,
Men
it's just
as a whole are not safe.
no.
And if you are a liberal man and you take offense to that statement, you are part of the problem.
Yes.
I felt relieved to see a large majority of the liberal male content creators talking about this rape academy and about the whole situation, acknowledging, no, I have never done this to anybody, woman or man. But for a woman to feel uncomfortable around me because I am a man is understandable. And I will work my ass off to, one, fix society so that this shit doesn't happen. And two, in my circle and in as far as the influence that I have with women around me, I will work my ass off to make sure that these women feel comfortable around me. And feeling comfortable around a man isn't having a man white knight life for me. No,
No.
I don't need you to walk me to my car. I need you to work to make society safe so that you don't have to offer to walk me to my car. Because
Exactly.
I, as a woman, yes, I have a voice. Yes, we have this podcast. Yes, I can scream till the cows come home and I can work as a lawyer to try and change society. But my voice comes with tits and a vagina.
Mm-hmm.
Ergo, I don't have credibility. What
Yeah.
I say will always pale in comparison to what a man says until society fixes itself. And by society, I mean 50% of the women, MAGA women that voted for Trump, I'm looking at you, and men. Until
Yeah.
men stop over talking women in society and say, here's the stage, give us your voice, women will not have credibility ever. And that's just how it is. That is it being a woman in society.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't know who you can trust. I thought I could trust my grandfather. Apparently not. I learned that hard lesson that you cannot trust a man when I was 4.
No.
Yep.
So
3 and
sad.
5 women have learned that lesson. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have these white knight politicians who pay lip service calling these rape academies horrendous and we have to go after it and blah, blah, blah. We have to prosecute it while you're doing the same shit. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I look back at a particular memory now And I kind of chuckle and I think, oh my God, my poor son. But when my daughter was 17, 18, and my son was 16, we were all sitting in the living room, and my daughter's there with her boyfriend. My son is there. And I think one of my daughter's friends is there. And my daughter had said something to the effect of, the bear, not the man, because it's right when all this stuff had started.
Yeah.
And my son was kind of sitting horrified, listening to her explain why women choose the bear. What does that mean? Like, what is my sister saying? And my son had said, oh my God, like, it's not all men. I don't treat women like that. You and mom taught me. Holy Jesus. I thought that my daughter and her friend were going to eat him alive the way that they jumped on him, you
Yeah.
know? But he needed that. He
Yeah.
needed to be jumped on by his peers, and he needed to be shown the hard truth that no, you would never do that because mom taught you right. Your sister taught you right. You learned by listening to the women that you grew up with, but you must understand that even though you wouldn't do that, there are other men that would, and other women that don't know you don't know that you wouldn't. So you have to act as if every woman assumes that you would so that
Absolutely.
you can give her a safe space. Point
Hmm.
blank, period.
Yeah. And more men need to realize that too. I mean, the whole not all men thing is like the worst line you could ever say at this point. And it's only getting worse. And, as this kind of violence gets normalized, I mean, it's only going to keep getting worse as the more things happen. There's going to be more of a divide between men and women, though I see so many women online now that are finally waking up to the fact that men really aren't safe, and I think that's honestly a good thing. We
Right,
need more women need to wake up to the fact that men are not safe. They're not safe
right.
spaces. So the more things like this that happen, as sad and traumatic as it is, the more women are going to keep waking up, the more there's going to be a divide between men and women. And, the more violence is going to start occurring, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is that the more women separate from men, the more men are going to commit violent and atrocious acts towards women. And, it's going to be a vicious cycle. So
It,
hopefully there's going to be some kind of wake up call between the two at some point, and men start to realize that they need to, have some
I,
accountability.
I think that we might see change, and it's
I
going to
hope we
take a
do.
handful of generations,
I
if
think
and
so.
only if and only if toxic masculinity is quashed. This
Yeah.
whole bullshit premise that men don't cry, you
Yeah.
know, men
Well,
don't
that's
feel
so bad.
sad. You
Yeah.
bullshit.
That's gonna take
Yes,
that's
men.
gonna take years
Yeah,
to
it.
undo that kind of. That's traumatic for men too, though. Like,
Yes,
that is horrible for men.
yes.
And I hope that does start waning as the generations go. I think it's starting to get slightly better, but I mean, I still see men online making fun of each other for
It.
as showing emotion, and I think that's. I hope that in the next few generations that starts to become less and less and less, because that's always been just a toxic thing for men. And I mean, it's toxic for women too, though, the things that they throw on us that are,
Right.
that women are overly sensitive and that women cry all the time. God, I don't know when the last time I cried was. I don't, I'm the exact opposite of, the woman trope of overly emotional and a
Right.
crier. Like, these are all things that you know these stereotypes that men throw on women and women throw on men, they all need to disappear, in my opinion.
It. I had. I had held a belief that the toxic masculinity era was starting to wane, and that acknowledgement was being given that men can have emotions. Men learn to communicate. And by communicate, I don't mean huff and go to your man cave
Yeah, and
or,
punch a wall.
right, or pout. I
Yeah.
mean, use your words and say,
Yeah.
I'm feeling lonely. Can you sit next to me and hug me, cuddle me? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I had thought that that was starting to go away, and then Trump was elected.
Oh God! And then
And
he made everything go backwards.
and
Ugh.
now we've got Hegseth quoting Ezekiel 25:17
Okay. But in
from
all
Pulp
honesty, though,
Fiction.
I mean, you have Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
I have Pulp Fiction in the background. You have to, I mean, I will admit that the Tarantino Bible slaps.
it does. It does. But when you are
I love
straight
the Tarantino
faced,
Bible.
when you are straight faced quoting this, not as the Tarantino Bible, as the Jesus
I
Bible.
haven't laughed so hard as I did when I watched that clip as a big Tarantino fan. I heard the first few words and I was like, wait. And I
It,
will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
what the fuck?
Oh
It,
my question is here. I have a question. Do you think that the aide who gave him that speech, like, watched Pulp Fiction and was like, yeah, that's a real Bible verse? Or do you think, here's what my hope core is. My hope core is that the aide that gave him that speech knew that it was from Pulp Fiction and knew it wasn't real and did it just to humiliate his drunk ass.
that would be awesome.
That's my
Now,
hope core. So I'm going with that version.
I think what the truth of the matter is that either Hegseth or this aide has fed so much violence as glory to AI that when they asked it to
Oh,
generate
you
a
think AI
speech,
did it?
yes, I think that they have fed so much violence and gore to AI that this poor little AI, when asked to kick out a biblically backed speech in support of this war, went, okay, here's the hardcore baddest ass quote that claims it's from the Bible and
Oh,
pulled
they
from
do,
Quentin
because in the movie
Tarantino.
it says it's Ezekiel
Yes.
25. Oh my God. Oh,
Yes.
you're probably right. They probably did pull that from AI. Oh, I am dead. Oh, I'm gagged. That's
I
hilarious.
think this was an AI speech.
Ah, you're
And
probably right. See, I was hoping that they just watched the movie.
nope.
They're too dumb to watch movies. You're right. They probably didn't.
Put two and two together, they would never be able to do it. I and now here's where I'm going to go on, like, again, Sasha's little imagination lane, right? I think
Oh
that it
my
was
God.
Hegseth's son, who probably is a Tarantino fan, pulled ideas from Tarantino, pulled ideas from the Bible, and told AI, "Hey, I
But
make
Hegseth's
this
son
cool
is
speech
too
for my kid."
young to watch this movie. This
His
movie's an
son's a
R-rated
teenager, no?
movie.
His
No,
his
they're
son's like
kids.
13.
They're kids. Aren't they like 12? Or I
It's
gotta
old
Google.
enough to be watching Tarantino. You really think that Hegseth is telling his kid you can't watch Tarantino?
Probably not. You're probably right. Oh, his oldest one is 2010. So
That's
yeah,
16. He has
16.
7 children.
You're probably right. He probably
Yeah.
did watch it.
10 to 16 are their ages
Honestly,
roughly.
though, they should stick with the Tarantino version of the Bible because it's more in line with what their beliefs are. A lot of violence and a lot of the N-word. So
Although
they really like that.
I think
They really like
Tarantino
those
would have
two
something to say
things.
about it.
I don't know about that. Tarantino is a Zionist who lives in Israel, and
Oh, really?
he's probably MAGA. I doubt he would have much to say. I don't know that for sure because he's never expressed his political beliefs. This is one of those I have to do cognitive dissonance on Tarantino because I have to separate the art from the artist. I love his movies too much to try to dig into his political beliefs. So what I don't know won't hurt me.
Hold on, yeah. Tarantino has identified himself as a Zionist. He's
Yeah,
made
of course he is. He
comments,
lives in
die as a
Israel.
Zionist.
Yeah, he's a big time Zionist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's MAGA, though. That's the difference. Not all Zionists are MAGA.
I mean, he at least is supportive in MAGA. They're the ones that are
Yeah.
giving Israel the bombs to go ahead and
Well,
continue their
don't
little
forget, though,
crusade.
so did Biden. Biden gave him all the bombs, too.
Yeah,
So
he
that's a
shouldn't have.
bipartisan. That's a
It,
bipartisan thing. Arming
here's the
Israel is bipartisan.
I will call out bullshit where I see it. I don't care if you're a Democrat and I don't care if you're a Republican. We had 7 Democrats who received AIPAC money who voted to continue giving Israel
I
bombs.
know, but this was the first time, like in history, that 40 Democrats voted to stop. Did you see that? And that was
Mhm.
good. That was so good that 40 of
Yeah,
them stupid Schumer, of course, voted
of
to
course.
keep arming them.
Of
He needs
course.
to get out, Schumer. Schumer needs
Shoot,
to move over.
the old guard has to go.
Yeah,
The
he
old
has got
guard
to
must go.
go.
The old
Schumer
guard
has
must
got to
go.
go.
It I'm getting nervous, speaking of the federal bodies. I'm getting nervous with AOC.
Why? I love AOC. What did she do? Did I miss something?
I love her too, but let me find this guy's name because offhand I don't remember his name. Um,
I would vote for AOC for president if I could. Why? What does she do?
so she is, what's his name? Oh God, I'm gonna massacre it.
That's okay.
Saikat Chakrabarty.
I don't know who that is.
He he worked a lot with Pelosi to get a lot of progressive legislation pushed by Pelosi, right?
Okay.
She is now not endorsing him for the San Francisco congressional seat.
Okay.
She's starting to play the politics. She's starting to
Mm.
learn that if she wants to move forward, because people have mentioned her name and the name president in the same sentence, that she needs to start being strategic and tactical with her statements, with her actions, with what she does, where she does it.
Well, maybe we should look into why she didn't endorse him, though, because Pelosi, I don't like a lot of the stuff Pelosi did either. Pelosi is dirty money. She's got a lot of dirty money.
Pelosi's
So
dirty money. This guy pulled away. I want to say Pelosi fired him. I think Pelosi fired him. So he wasn't with her in the dirty shit, in like the stock market shit, you know?
okay.
But it's making me a little nervous.
I'm hesitant to form an opinion on that until I look into it further because I would want to see why she decided not to endorse.
It definitely takes more looking into,
Yeah. I'll look
right?
into that a little more after finals and see what she did there. Because she does a lot of stuff I like. And, I'm realistic. There's going to be things politicians do that I'm not going to like. And I'm probably going to vote for them anyways, in a lot of ways, because they're the overwhelming of things they do that I do like. Um, Everyone's going to have one or two things I'm not going to like. There's not going to be any perfect candidate.
Right. Um, it definitely takes more looking into,
Yeah.
but as a closing word of caution to people that listen to what we're saying, before you jump in or before you straight out jump off someone's ticket and supporting them, figure out where your hard lines are. And a hard line is a hard line. A boundary is a boundary. If Obama were somehow miraculously to try and run for a 3rd term, but he took AIPAC money, I don't know. I couldn't vote for him in a primary. I just couldn't. You're taking AIPAC money. For me, that's a hard line. You know? Um, AOC, I loved her because she was super progressive. Super fucking progressive. It When little things like this come up, you got to read into it. Why? Why are they doing this? What is really there? Um, I have gotten the vibe that she's been waffling lately. You know, her
Okay.
her statements to media have been more middle of the ground explanatory. Well, this, but that, instead of no, you know, not that she's ever said this, right? But instead of saying healthcare is always a human right, I will never accept anything other than healthcare being a human right. Healthcare is a human right, but maybe we should just make it more affordable instead of something that is a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? That's the vibe I'm getting from a lot of her statements lately. Is that waffle? So I'm not off the train for AOC, but I am cautiously watching now. you know? So, Californians, pay attention to what's going on in our governor race, please. The last thing we need is a MAGA to be governor. And the second to last thing that we need is a billionaire in couture sheep's clothing to be the governor. Steyer has a lot of really pretty promises. There's no plans behind those promises that are feasible or actionable. The environment's been his baby. Now all of a sudden immigration is his baby. The environment's his baby, but he wants AI for everybody, even though AI destroys the environment. He's wishy-washy. He goes where the wind blows. Any last words, Lela?
Leftists don't vote for billionaires. They
Ever.
just don't. They
Ever.
just don't.
Ever.
They just don't. Yeah, that's it. That's my only closing words.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This was kind of a wishy-washy, emotional, but I think good hour for us. Wish us luck on our finals after this. We've only got 2 more seasons of finals.
I need all the luck I can get.
We got this. All right, guys. That's it for us here on Political Malpractice. We will see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
If you want a second opinion or just something to rage about, hit that button and subscribe. This has been Political Malpractice.